Hi, my name is Daniel Burrus, author of Flash Foresight, How to See the Invisible and Do the Impossible. Today I have an old friend, Terry Brock, is with me, and Terry is a consultant to Fortune 500 companies. He's also a fantastic speaker, and what Terry does is he helps organizations and individuals see invisible opportunities, new ways of using technology that they would have never thought of before that could transform their businesses. And Terry's a master at that, so I wanted to bring him in with this interview, and I want to focus this particular interview around the transformation in video. In the book, I'm making the point that we are transforming how we sell, market, train, communicate, educate, and if you're only changing those things, you will indeed fail, because we're no longer just in change. And I define change and transformation in this way, using this example. Long ago, I could listen to my albums, one album per spinning disc, 33 1/3, and then a technology change came along that I liked, and that was we had CDs. In other words, one album per smaller spinning disc, except this time there were no hisses and scratches, and I liked that. Matter of fact, I repurchased all my old stuff. It was wonderful, a nice change. Today, though, I have all my music in my phone, which is with me at all times. That didn't change how I listen to music. It transformed how I listen to music. Well, as I said, we are about to transform how we sell, market, communicate, collaborate, innovate, educate, train, and if you're only changing those things, you will fail. To transform those things, we want to make the invisible opportunity visible. And in a video way, video is a key to that transformation in all of those areas I just listed off. Let's just talk about video and how we're using it today, and that is video conferencing. And video conferencing typically is in a room loaded with expensive gear. You have to sign up to go in there, but the problem is it's already taken because there's executives in there doing a lot of international work, so you never get to use it. Yet there's something new coming out right now, and that is what I call visual communications. And unlike video conferencing, you can do it on a device, a phone, you could do it on a laptop, and you probably already have using a program like Skype. Many people, when they're away from their loved ones or their friends, they will get into a hotel room and they'll open up that laptop and look at that camera on their screen, use Skype video, and have a visual communication with a loved one. And the reason that is so powerful is that you're involving more of the human senses, because I can actually see you. I can have a deeper communication. I can know what's kind of behind your words. I can read your face and your expressions, and therefore adjust my communications to meet that. Well, if you're doing it with a friend and a loved one, why aren't you doing it with a customer, with a client, or with a prospect? Well, we're going to be. So video, I believe, is a key element to this transformation. Terry, what are some of the invisible opportunities for using visual communications to drive business growth?
Well, there's a huge amount of opportunities for those businesses that will see the value of video and be able to use that as a real transformational device. Dan, you talk about this in your book, and I think that it's brilliant that it's not just a change. Change is, wow, we can see each other on the screen, and that's nice. Transformation is we're solving real business problems. You're able to say, hey, look, we've got this new widget here. Look, it goes like this, and we can take it here, and let me demonstrate that to you. It does it this way, etc. You know, you can't do those things over just audio on the telephone. Doesn't work. And you're able to see the facial interactions, the expression. If I say, yeah, that's a good idea, and my eyes are rolling around and I'm doing funny things on the screen, you know face to face, hey, I didn't really buy into that. But if you can see me, you can go, now come on, Terry, what do you think about that really? Tell us what you think. And we are watching the facial reactions. It takes communication, business communication, to a whole new level. And that's just one example of what we can do with video.
Can you, I know that you have told me, and you and I have both been using Skype and video to do one-to-many. Talk about how in the past we've used things like WebEx and other programs to have a one presenter, whether it's a sales program or whatever it is you're doing, to a number of customers, and you're showing PowerPoints and you're typing and you're talking. But now we can do something different. We can do more than that. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, one of the things that we can do today is something that was really impossible before, and now it is possible. Like again, like you say in the book, I love the way that when I read about that, you say, see what's impossible, the impossible, and find the possible in that. And what we can do now is, say, for instance, you've got a situation where you've got to make that presentation with an expert, and she is stranded in a hotel where she can't get out. The snow is 1,000 feet deep, and they can't get out there. Or the planes are down, or like we had a while back with Iceland and the volcano going off. All the planes were canceled, but people were able to connect and communicate via Skype, and they could deliver their presentation. Here's what you need to do that. You want to tie in, and I would recommend using Ethernet connection, not Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi might not be as reliable. Try to get Ethernet, and then have the computer at the other end hooked up to a projector, LCD projector, and flashing up on the screen, much like we were familiar with right now with PowerPoint or showing your slides. But now they're actually getting the picture of the person and then get the audio coming out of the computer to go into the house sound system. Now you've got that expert, she's in another location, and you're able to let the group benefit from this person who is brilliant and the expert on a topic, and you're able to get both done. And here's another benefit, it's a lot less expensive. You can bring in experts now. You don't have to wait till a disaster. Bring them in from different parts of the world. Why not have a subject where you've got maybe 3 different opinions on it, and it's a real controversial thing in the industry? Well, you get one person here at this part of the country, another person here, and another one over there, all because of the benefits of Skype.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, having given a couple of thousand keynote speeches around the world so far, I've been very fortunate in making all of those, but you never know what's going to happen. Your Iceland example is a perfect example. So if I'm trapped in a hotel room, I'm supposed to give a keynote speech to 5,000 people in a big conference center. I could use Skype to do that. I would have to make sure that I have a good enough connection using something like speedtest.net, making sure that I'm getting my upload speed at least at 1.0 or 1.5 so that I know I've got a good enough connection. Probably for something like that, I'd want at least 1.5. And if I can get that kind of a connection, I know that I could be there. On their end, they could, using that same scenario you just went through, they could hook into their big, fancy, really big projection system, maybe even multi-screens. No problem. They could do that. And
Yep.
they could turn the camera, the laptop, around facing the audience so that I can actually see in real time the audience that I'm speaking to.
Yes,
And,
exactly. That way you're interacting with them. You see, what will happen is people will look at it and they kind of go into, I'm watching a video mode. They're just sitting there watching the video. But you've got to, as a speaker, and this for those viewers that are looking at this and you actually get into that situation, you've got to connect with them, ask questions, get feedback. And so you're watching them, just like you mentioned, Dan. We've got to have that laptop facing the audience so that the speaker back in the hotel room can look out and see the audience to watch reactions. And then here's another little trick I recommend. Have a seat right up by the computer. And then as you have people that you see, ask them to come up and sit down. They can ask you questions. They can work with you, interact, and it becomes not exactly like a live event, but it's pretty close. And for some of the advantages of cost savings in an emergency situation, bringing in multiple speakers, it's got some real powerful transformational ways to deliver a meeting.
Now, Terry, Skype has also got something new right now where you can get more than one person on a Skype call. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's our new group video calling or group video chat, GVC. It gives you the ability to have up to 10 people on the Windows version, that is. The Windows 5.1, it's still in beta for Mac right now as we're recording this, but it will be out soon. But as we see it with that, you could have up to 10 people on there so you can watch different reactions. You can see different people. Well, you might not want to have 10, but suppose you could have 3 people. And you could have the moderator and 3 others down below so that you're able to get reactions, find out what's going on right there with other people, and then even bring that into the meeting so that the moderator might be one who's right there in the room, but then you have others that are out in the field. Now you can start doing in the field. Matter of fact, here's a transformational way of doing it, Dan. Now we can use Skype on FaceTime on our iPhones. So you can have your iPhone and be able to see someone, they see you, and you're communicating right in the field. Make sure you got really good bandwidth on that. You'll have to use Wi-Fi here. But if you do that, there's enormous possibilities for business, Think of the telemedicine capabilities, bringing in that expert from the university hospital to take care of that patient right there, right after a disaster, and a medic is there with the iPhone, making sure they can communicate with the medical professional back at the location where the expertise is.
Yeah, it's really limited only by our imagination. The problem is that we're all too busy to have imaginations today.
Yeah, that's right.
I think it's real important for us to start using our imagination and realizing that the opportunities there are so big that,
Absolutely.
That you will miss the boat. Once again, if you're only changing, you'll fail. This is the time to be driving transformation, regardless of the size of your business. Is there a way to show Keynote or PowerPoints with a Skype so that you could use it as a video WebEx type of tool?
Oh, yes. It's interesting you would ask that because absolutely we could share the screen. It's one of the nice things that you can say, look at this presentation, much like you would do a PowerPoint presentation. We're familiar with that. Hey, at one time, that was transformational. To be able to put things on the screen and watch it move across the screen. Wow, animation. Now we look at it and go, ho hum. Now you can deliver that with a lot of power with the person right there on the scene. You're able to go through your slides, be able to share whatever's on your screen, show them a website, for instance, show them the new product launch before you do it, and you're able to do a lot. And I think when we look at all these options that are out there, we have to think, well, what do? We get overwhelmed. Well, here's a tool that I found that helps is examine what's out there. Kind of read the various magazines, watch the videos that are on the net, listen to the podcast, and then as you put them together, start looking at the options that are available. Think about how could we use this? If they're doing that over there in that industry, how could we do that if we take it and twist it just a little bit differently so that we can fit it into ours? By being creative, like you said, we're going to have to take time to be creative, which means taking time to kind of disconnect from all the technology in order to use the technology even more.
Well, Terry, how can people find out more about the transformational use of technology from you? Where could they go?
Well, they can come over to my website, which is terrybrock.com, TerryBrock.com, and they can look at some of the videos. Some of the audios are available for listening, and we've got articles there so they can understand the kind of things that are there, and also encourage them to go over to blogs.skype.com/business to take a look at the Skype video blog for some of the latest cutting edge ideas and announcements that are out there that can really help in a serious way in business.
I love it. Well, thank you so much. And by the way, you could also go to flashforesight.com and find out a little bit more about how to see the invisible and do the impossible, which gives you those foresights to move forward. Thanks so much, and we'll try this again soon.
Thank you, Dan.